Welcome to the world of deep tech. Today, let's talk about business pitching. There are tons of articles, videos, and templates on how to pitch and what to pitch to investors across the web, and the objective here is not to rehash them. Instead, I will give a broad overview of the various steps involved in a great pitch. But first, what is pitching? It is a process in which you're trying to present your idea concisely and convincingly to another person or persons so that they are willing to take the desired action. Whichever stage of deep tech commercialization process you are at, you're constantly pitching. Pitching doesn't always mean making a formal presentation in person. It could be done via video calls or in one-on-one meetings, in informal conversations at conferences and networking meetings, or on social media platforms. It could also be a presentation or document that you send to someone and doesn't involve your presence at all. In the context of deep tech commercialization, you are trying to pitch to several parties. For example, you're trying to pitch to employees and advisors you want to get on board your team. You're also pitching to corporate partners and collaborators to work with you to convert your technology to product. You're pitching to potential customers to try or buy your product. You're engaging various media outlets to talk about you and your solution so that the right partners and investors will be interested in you. And of course, you're pitching to investors and grant agencies to fund you to realize your vision. Every pitch, irrespective of whom you're targeting, has 4 building blocks. The first one is homework. Based on your homework, you will create the content of your pitch and figure out an effective way to deliver it. A pitch doesn't quite end with delivery. You need to follow up with the other party in order to convert their desired action to actual outcomes for you. Let's look at each of these steps in some detail. Let's start with homework, which is the most important part of pitching. The first component of this is understanding what you want out of the pitch. You need to be an expert not only in your technology but also in your solutions, industry, and market. You should also have a clear understanding of the strengths and weaknesses of all aspects of your proposal. If you're pitching to an investor, you should also be clear on other aspects of your venture, such as budgets, future plans, and milestones. Next, try to understand your expected audience, their problems, motivations, and constraints. For example, if you're pitching to a customer, try to understand the problems they're trying to solve and how they are currently trying to solve it. It also helps to understand their performance metrics and any constraints that would prevent them from adopting your solution. Another thing to remember is that it is most likely that someone will pay attention to you if you build rapport with them than if you start out cold. Most investors, for example, do not look at an investment that comes in cold. So, find a way to form a bridge with them by getting an introduction or finding common forums to connect. If these are not possible, invest the time to get to know them before diving into your pitch. This could be done more formally through informational interviews or through informal means like talking to them in networking meetings and connecting with them on social media platforms. If you're pitching in an in-person presentation or one-on-one meeting, Find out the exact location and how to get there in advance. Also, call in ahead to ensure that you have necessary audiovisual equipment and cables to do your presentation effectively. If you are doing the pitch via video conferencing or on the phone, be aware of where the person you are trying to connect with is located and be sensitive to the possibility that he or she might be on the move or in a different time zone. The other thing to be aware of is how much time you will have for your pitch and plan it out to ensure that you can meet your objective within that time period. If you're meeting in person, map out the route and traffic conditions to ensure that you get there well on time. Finally, expect the unexpected. Depending on the stage of commercialization path, this could be major breaking news related to government policies such as regulation and tariffs, or world events that have marked impact on the attractiveness of your venture. It could also be simple Murphy's Law acting against you on a smaller scale, like unexpected loss of internet connectivity or your demo failing to work as expected. Be prepared for these scenarios and how you want to deal with them. Next, the actual content of the pitch. The content of the pitch has to be clear and be void of too much detail. It should capture your vision for the venture and the unique selling proposition for your target audience. For example, if you are trying to pitch to a prospective employee, the elements of USP to focus on are the excitement of being part of the vision, growing opportunities, and the package. On the other hand, if you are trying to pitch to a customer, then the USP relates to the solution you are offering and the unique advantages of your company in delivering the value to them. Another important component of the pitch content is the path to destination. These are concrete action items from where you are to your desired outcome. It would also be where you specify what's in it for them. For example, if you're pitching to a customer, depending on the stage of the discussion, the customer would like to have a clear idea of the deployment plan for your solution and the elements of post-sale customer support to ensure that they are not left holding the baby all by themselves. Next is the ask, which is the most important aspect of the content. This is where you clarify the action you expect from your audience and present the cost-benefit analysis of your proposal. This could be a purchase order or a path to it from the customer or a funding request and how you plan to use the funds from the investor to create value for them. It's important to remember that every customer, investor, employee, and stakeholder comes with his or her own set of requirements and opportunities. So the message and the pitch has to be personalized to the particular audience as much as possible to maximize the possibility of the pitch translating into a desired action and outcome. Finally, prepare some backup information that you could possibly refer to in your discussions as needed. This would require doing some scenario planning, listing out possible questions and creating the answers to them. This is where the details you left out in the main pitch can be included. Once you've done your homework and collated your content based on the audience and purpose, the next component of the pitch is delivery. Here, the most important thing is to be authentic. That is, be yourself. Take a deep breath and relax. Make your message as easy to understand as possible without making your audience feel dumb. This almost always means not using mathematical equations and scientific jargon. The emphasis is on the value you bring to your audience and the desired action you want them to take, and not on showcasing your technical talent or every detail of your venture. Deliver the pitch such that it creates enough excitement and urgency that the audience fears missing out on the action and wants to act immediately. It's also almost imperative to show what you want to tell them rather than actually tell them, given the availability of easily accessible multimedia tools today. Instead of describing your vision, show them using case studies and personalized stories. Instead of describing a product, show them a physical or a simulated prototype. If appropriate, let the audience interact with the prototype. Use testimonials from early adopters to showcase the value your solution can bring. Above all, interact with the audience by making eye contact or finding friendly faces. Notice their body language and adjust your delivery. If humor works for you, use it by all means, but keep it professional and sensitive. Admittedly, this kind of delivery is not an easy feat to pull off for most of us. The key to doing this well is practice, 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 and practice some more till you perfect the delivery. Finally, like with everything in life, the unexpected happens. You may be asked to shorten your pitch, or elements of your pitch, like the product demo, may fail to work. If you had planned for them in your homework phase, execute on the plan. If not, be prepared to do some swift recovery on the go. Your ability to stay calm in such unforeseen circumstances may be a factor in how your audience reacts to your pitch. And where possible and appropriate, try to get the names and contacts of all the people you interacted with during the pitch. An often forgotten or missed part of pitching is the follow-up. It could be a simple thank you note to a person you met at a networking meeting. For pitches like presentations to investors and customers, send out a summary of key points you discussed during the meeting. Include next steps with time-bound, actionable items. For example, instead of saying, "I look forward to hearing back from you," say that you will check back with them in a week's time and would Friday morning 10 a.m. work for them. It is a reality in life that not all pitches lead to positive actions, and you are likely to get a lot of negative feedback. Take heart and know that it is part of any entrepreneurial journey. Be proactive in reviewing the negative feedback and see if you can improve your offering to them and other parties similar to them the next time around. And try to keep the door open for that next time. Remember that they may be rejecting your proposal for its lack of fit with their needs at that time and not necessarily for its lack of merit. Now, many stakeholders, especially investors, ask you to send them a pitch deck. Try not to send it to them before the meeting. Sending in a pitch deck has several disadvantages. First and foremost among them is that you are not there. So it's hard to judge their frame of mind as they are going through the deck at all. If the deck lands at the wrong time, you're unlikely to get a positive result. In addition, like all forms of written communication, your deck could be misinterpreted depending on their frame of mind. If you must send out the deck, then think of it as a trailer to your actual pitch, with its only aim being creating enough excitement to get an opportunity to pitch directly and no more. Use case studies to convey your vision and the opportunity you want to pitch. Showcase the best part of your offering, be it team, product, market, or financial. The pitch deck you are sending should use standard fonts like Helvetica and Arial that are common across the platforms. Similarly, use web standard colors so that the deck looks the same on their screen as on yours. Ensure that the file has a small footprint and can be opened without specialized software so that it is easy to send and to review. It's also advisable to send the actual file containing the pitch deck instead of a link. A link requires the reviewer to take an additional step of clicking on the link and waiting for it to download to review your deck. Depending on the speed of the network and the size of the file, this can create an additional hurdle that they need to jump through to review your deck, thereby delaying action. In summary, here are the aspects of pitching we discussed in this video. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video. Thank you.